Okay, let's just address the elephant in the room. How good does my hair look? Guys, please stop. Stop. No, okay, in all seriousness, people have been asking about my hair in recent videos. Did I dye it? Did I cut it? Do I have extensions? No, and no. I haven't cut my hair in 2 years. In case you can't tell. All I did was I learned how to color correct my videos when I edit. This is what my video used to look like, and this is what the video looks like now. So this is my natural color. This is who I am. Hi honeys, I'm Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, and I help my clients go from this to this. If you want to be next, go to healthyemmie.org. Today we're going to be talking about how to lose weight fast using the starch solution for maximum weight loss. And you saw some of the before and afters of my clients, so you know I got this covered. I got you honeys. We're going to start at number 5 and go all the way down to number 1, so please make sure that you watch this entire video. Number 5, eat green vegetables with your first meal of the day. You'll notice that I didn't say eat green vegetables with breakfast. Instead, I said with the first meal of the day. What I don't want you to do, this is a little bit of a double tip, what I don't want you to do is to say, oh, it's breakfast time, it's 8:30 a.m., this is the time that I eat breakfast, it's time for me to eat. Because what I often find people doing is eating because it's time to eat or because there's some other signal of it. They finished their first meeting at work, or they just took the dog out, they brought the dog back in, and now they make their breakfast, and not because their body is truly telling them that it's time to eat. They rely more on external cues as opposed to internal cues. And that probably makes sense to you. Oh, okay, I should rely on hunger fullness cues, and when my body tells me it's hungry for when it's time to eat, as opposed to, oh, the clock is telling me that it's time to eat. But how do I go about that, Emmie? I've been eating at 8:30 for 30 years. How do I change that? I don't know how to listen to my body. And that's why I want to tell you this tip of eating green vegetables with your breakfast, because green vegetables don't sound very appealing and appetizing if you're not truly hungry. But a donut, that sounds good even when you're packed to the brim stuffed full. So by having green vegetables with your breakfast, you're ensuring that you're only going to eat when you're truly hungry, because who wants green vegetables when they're not hungry? Green vegetables also contain something called thylakoids, and thylakoids turn off the hunger signal. So if you have them with your first meal of the day, you're not going to be having cravings later in the day. If you're somebody that struggles with that 4 o'clock hit where you're like, I need something sweet or I am going to disintegrate, then you have got to include vegetables with your breakfast, because this very much helps with curbing that feeling. If you've had green vegetables earlier in the day, you're going to feel a lot more steady for the rest of the day. Tip number 4, don't weigh yourself during week 1 of trying out and committing 100% to this lifestyle. The reason why I tell you to do this, and we actually do this with my clients, I don't have my clients weigh themselves during week 1, is because this diet is naturally higher in carbohydrates. Don't let that scare you. Carbohydrates are the body's preferred source of fuel, so we have to eat them in order to live. Every single one of the trillions of cells in our body runs off of carbohydrates. Glucose is the body's preferred source of fuel, so don't freak out. Carbs don't make you fat. They don't readily turn into fat. But when we store carbs temporarily as glycogen, we hold on to 3 grams of water for every gram of glycogen that we store, which means that when you're eating a diet that is a little bit higher in carbohydrates than the diet that you were coming from beforehand, you're going to be more hydrated. That's all it is. You have a little bit more water. Your water weight is a little bit higher. So if you start eating a diet that's higher in carbohydrates, then you step on the scale the next day, the scale might be up a couple pounds, and you say, oh my goodness, carbs do make you fat. Emmie is a liar. Where does she live? I'm going after her right now. But I promise you, this is not fat. It's just hydration. Your body is a little bit more hydrated than you were a couple of days ago. I don't want you to get lost in this. So I tell my clients, don't weigh yourself during week 1, and then weigh yourself properly. And this is the format that I use with my clients. Weighing yourself on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, first thing in the morning, before having eaten or drank anything, after using the bathroom, completely nude on the same scale. And then what you want to do is take that weight from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, average it, and the way that you get the average is to add up all three and then divide it by 3. So if your weight is 148, 149, and 150, you would add those 3 numbers up, 148 plus 149 plus 150, and then divide by 3, and that would be the average. And you would get 149, and that would be your average weight for that week. And then you would compare that average from week to week. What I don't want you to do is to weigh yourself every day, and then the second your weight goes up a little bit, you say, oh no, I did something wrong. Whatever I ate yesterday, I can't eat that again because that makes me fat and that makes me gain weight. We need to take a telescope approach as opposed to a microscope approach. And the microscope approach is looking at your weight every single day and not recognizing that your weight is going to go up and down, but the trajectory overall is going to be downward. It's like the stock market. The stock market goes up and down, but it's going up for the most part. I heard one of our mindset coaches say this to one of our clients, and her name's Kirsten. And I said, Kirsten, I love that. I'm going to start using it because people understand the stock market. I hope that it goes up and down as it goes up overall. It's the same thing with your weight. It's just in the other direction. It goes up and down, but overall it goes downward. Editing Emmie here, realizing I didn't explain why this is going to help you lose weight fast. Well, I believe the slower you go, the faster you get there. I am not one for crash dieting. I am one for consistency so that 1 year from now, you're actually where you want to be, as opposed to 1 year from now, you're exactly where you are today because you kept swinging the pendulum back and forth on the yo-yo diet. If we can get you weighing yourself properly, then what won't happen is that you go on the starch solution type diet, you say carbs make me fat because I stepped on the scale one day and my weight was up a little bit, and then you go back to another diet, a low carb diet or counting calories, then you go, actually I'm going to try that starch solution thing again, and then you start it again, and then your weight goes up a little bit and you go back to what you were doing before, and you're swinging the yo-yo back and forth, and before you know it, it's 5 years from now and you're still swinging that pendulum back and forth. So if we can get you to weigh yourself properly, you're not going to keep doing the same thing over and over for years to come, and you're actually going to make steady progress. It's going to be sustainable, it's going to be step by step, and it's going to be slower than it would be if you're doing a crash diet, but it's actually going to be productive to getting you to your goals. In a year from now, you'll actually be there. Tip number 3 is to keep it simple. Variety increases consumption. The more delicious and the more ingredients and the more that's going on with the meal, oh my goodness, look at all these different ingredients and tastes, the more of it you're going to eat. You may or may not know this, that we have pretty much the same brain as we had 100,000 years ago. And 100,000 years ago, we were dealing with famine up the wazoo, which means that our brain is designed to protect us from famine. And what that means is that if there's any inclination of a scarcity of food or an abundance of food, our brain lights up. So whenever we are super hungry, we might end up overeating and binging because our primal brain thinks that there's a famine, that we're starving to death, and it's trying to protect us from that famine. The opposite goes as well, that when our brain believes that it's a period of abundance and we've had a big harvest or we got a really big kill, then our brain says, take advantage of this because there's probably going to be a famine soon. So whenever we're having a meal that has all of these different flavors and textures and ingredients, that signals to our primal brain, it was a good year for the harvest. So take advantage of this because there's going to be a famine soon. And that's why the more interesting our meal is and the more ingredients we have, we naturally eat more of it. So while these recipes are terrific and they're a great way to warm you up to a lifestyle, if you're really looking to maximize your weight loss on this program, then let's keep the way that you eat very simple. And you might go, what does that mean? How do I eat if I don't have recipes? You don't need recipes. You can just eat food. You can eat rice, beans, vegetables, potatoes, oatmeal, fruit, and put it all together. It doesn't have to be some crazy recipe that has some beautiful name and a blog with somebody's life story before it. You can just eat real food. Don't complicate this. This is supposed to be simple. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button. It really helps my channel. Tip number 2, find a breakfast, for lack of a better term. You know, I talked about earlier, I really don't like labeling meals with names. I think that it keeps you out of tune with your hunger fullness cues, but for just, you know what I mean here, your first meal of the day, make it consistent. Eat the same thing for your first meal every day. Routine and habit is the key to success. That's what's going to make you consistent, and consistency is so important if you want to get lifelong results. If you do this for a week, that's not going to help you. If you do this for a year, you're going to be a different person 365 days from now. And when we look at the most successful people in the world, they have these habits, they have these routines, they have these unwavering things that they do every day. For example, Steve Jobs wore the same thing every day. Barack Obama had the same suit and he had 5 different ones of them or 7 different ones of them, and he wore the same thing every single day. The more that we can simplify things and the less choice we can give ourselves when it comes to food, the more successful we're going to be. Choice is the worst thing to give to a human, and especially somebody who's trying to lose weight, because it's overwhelming, and the more options you have, the more likely you are to sneak your way into an option that's not the best for you. So reduce the choices, make it so that you have the same thing every day, and studies show there's something called habit stacking, where if you want to create a new habit, to put it on top of a habit that you already have in place. So if you make your new habit, the first thing I eat every day is my oatmeal. For my mom, every single day, if you've watched the Healthy Mummy series, you know that my mom has had tremendous success. She's 61 years old on this lifestyle. She improved her cholesterol. She lost the spare tire from menopause. She really has killed it. She's like skinnier than I am now, and so I have a bone to pick with her. But in any event, she eats the same thing for breakfast every single day. She has her oatmeal with her blueberries, her cinnamon, and her carrots, and she has that every single day without fail. And that's why she's been so successful. It was a way to start the day, and it got her into the groove for the day. She had her oatmeal. She's off to a good start, and now she's much more likely to have a healthy thing for meal number 2. We don't want to say lunch. We want to say for the next meal. So choose a first meal that works for you and stick to it. If you watch my videos or you see my Instagram stories, you know for me, it's banana, oatmeal, flaxseed, and cinnamon every single day. I mean, I don't even think about it. And that is a recipe for success. And then tip number 1 is the Veggie Test. I emphasize hunger fullness cues so much. I find that a lot of people come to this lifestyle because they're sick and tired of dieting and counting calories and weighing and measuring, and they say, I just want to eat. And then they find this lifestyle and they say, oh, on this lifestyle, everybody says you can eat as much as you want. So they stuff themselves silly, neglect hunger fullness cues, which are already numbed out from all of the years of dieting that tell you to neglect your hunger fullness cues. And because of that, they're not able to find success. Hunger fullness cues is so important. We can't escape that one, unfortunately. I wish that you could stuff yourself silly like it was Thanksgiving every day. That would make this a heck of a lot easier, but that's not the case, and that's okay. That's why I'm here and I talk about these things. We have to honor our hunger fullness cues. And for a lot of people, they say, I don't know how, I don't know where to start, I don't know what it's like to feel hungry, or I do, but I don't honor it, or I eat past fullness. So use something called the Veggie Test. If you're not sure if you're hungry, ask yourself, would I eat vegetables right now? And some people say to me, but I love vegetables. And I say, okay, ask yourself, would I eat raw vegetables right now? And if the answer is yes, then you are genuinely hungry. Go ahead and eat something. If you want to get results like these, then click the link in the down bar, apply to work with me, and we'll be on the phone maybe as early as tomorrow. I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.